Welcome to Popcorn Planet. We're here for the main event of Change Our Minds. It's a long show every Tuesday night with my man Jody. What's up, Jody?
What's up, everybody? It's good to be here. Let's get it popping.
So we're here to talk about a lot of stuff, but the main event is always what I trim out of this whole episode. So if you watched us live, you caught the whole show. If you didn't, you become a member, and you can watch the whole 2-hour stream or so anytime you want. But for those of you who got this trimmed later in the algorithm, I want to talk about something that we already did talk about, but I want to put some stuff to bed in this, and I want to show you some new updates to it all because, look, I'm totally anti-cancel culture, and I get frustrated when people are out there trying to say, "Oh, look, Andy and Jody are trying to cancel John Roca." Look, I don't know what Jody's goals are. I can't speak for Jody, but I don't want to cancel anybody. I want accountability when someone is caught doing something wrong. There's a problem right now where it's like, "Whoa, you can't be against cancel culture," and then, "Oh, if you try to correct somebody, it's cancel culture." No. Cancel culture has ballooned into this thing that is completely not properly defined anymore. People still need to take on accountability when they make mistakes, especially big ones like I think John Roca did. And what's frustrating me is the hypocrisy of his group, this Schmoedown group, of them just blatantly ignoring it, given what they've previously sort of reacted on in the past. So I want to thank Steph out there. Steph brought some more clips to our attention, and I want to bring all this back together to really tie a bow on this. Now, I don't want to get into the whole homeless thing, Jody, because you know what? I am going to show you something.
I can't. I have to. That's the only.
Well, you know what
triggers me.
Well, I don't want to like play it all because it's depressing. I was going to have you sort of sum it up, but here's we can play it if you want. But here's what I was going to say.
We don't have to.
There's something.
We have to talk about it.
Yeah, we're going to talk. I'm just saying I don't want to hear him say it because it's depressing. But you know what's fascinating? I want to show you something. All my videos in the past several months, there is only one video that got dinged. Do you want to know which video got dinged? John Roca.
Yes.
Why is it limited? Why is this John Roca video getting ad suitability? Let's view the feedback, shall we? Hate or discrimination towards a protected group or race or ethnic natural characteristics.
You snitched on you.
This video, no, Jody, worse. This video, because of John Roca's words, is the only hateful video on my channel. When I really broke this down, it's John Roca's words that are really making this hateful because it's what he said. Because it is hateful. And there's nothing I can do to challenge this human reviewer because if the human reviewer is going off of the hate towards a specific group, it's of John Roca's thoughts on the homeless. So thank you, John Roca. We didn't monetize that video, but I'm happy to have that video out there non-monetized because I want to, it's an important one to get out there. Yeah. But that's part of the reason I want to play it again because his hateful words will trigger the censor, and then it doesn't get shared out as widely, which pisses me off because I want to make sure people know the hypocrisy of this because the man's still not taking any accountability for it. In fact, Jody, he's lying about it. All right, so look what we have here. So I'm going to get through it. So for those of you who are unclear, let's start. We can start the beginning of it, I suppose. Here's this came out of nowhere. It's important to sort of know the context. We'll play the beginning of it, but here's the beginning.
I got nothing against the homeless, right? It's a terrible situation, but what kind of life is that? What kind of existence is that? And so I wonder what's our responsibility to that kind of a situation, right? I mean, a horse breaks...
Euthanasia, I think is our...
That's what euthanasia. I'm just saying, when a horse breaks its leg, you shoot it in there, right? So to me, I'm like, these are human beings that are not...
You're saying it's untapped glue potential from these people walking the streets is what you're saying.
Like, and as Jody said rightfully, because you watched Jody's whole breakdown when he watched it, there's a little bit of like, all right, maybe they are joking, right? There's a little bit because they're laughing, like, okay, but no, Roca takes a moment to serious up and then do this.
Oh man, how can we corner that market?
That's the next step.
So there's Gorilla Glue and this is Bum Glue.
But so she cut up sort of the to just get to the point.
You don't shower, you smell, you get exposed to all these illnesses and sicknesses. Yeah. What kind of existence is this? And so you wonder, is the humane thing to do to, kind of end these people's lives for them so that they don't become a burden on society, become a burden on themselves and other people?
It gets worse. It keeps going. Jody, we get anything else you want to add just so they know the context? It's important to at least know what he was talking about.
They need to understand that this guy is a piece of shit, pig, monster, Nazi, genocidal psychopath. And I feel like you could say cancel culture, you could say snitching, you could say being PC, you could call it whatever you want. When I hear somebody talk like that, I want them, what you would say, held accountable. Call it snitching, call it canceling them. I don't care. Stuff like this needs to be exposed, period. because people like that shouldn't even be in our society. People who think we should murder masses of people, especially homeless people, should not be members of this society. They belong in prison. But that's just all I wanted to say so far.
Well, so I've been waiting for Christian or somebody to sort of make a comment about it, and I have Christian's comment actually, because they actually did this a while ago. When this happened, it did come up. Someone super chatted it, and Christian brought it up. So let's hear Christian bring it up because of a chat, and let's hear Roka's explanation. You guys ready for this one?
Good suggestion. The gym sock exchange. Hey, Roka, why don't you tell them what you think? Should be done to homeless people in L.A. When you mentioned at the beginning of the top 10 English period movie show, how they should be taken out like animals.
Now, that's what happened, guys. That's absolutely what was said. We've played it multiple times. You can go check out Jody's video. In fact, I'll link it in the top right over there. You can watch the whole thing in its context. There's nothing wrong. Listen how Roka immediately responds.
Oh, what? What? And remind you of being poor?
You said what?
I never said any of that.
That's what they said. You said.
No.
What did you say?
We were talking about the homeless
Never
crisis
say
because
that.
it's so crazy here in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And so Matt and I were talking about it, and I thought, how can, what kind of, and I didn't mean the people who've lost their jobs. Or I was talking about like actually people that they've released from these mental health wards and that they didn't properly care for. There's no medicine for them.
Right.
And to me, I thought to myself, I was asking out loud, what's the humane thing to do? We put down horses when they break their legs. Like, is it inhumane that these people are living a very, very terrible life, dumpster diving, crapping in the streets, being beat up, things of that nature? Would it be inhumane to take them out of their misery?
You're saying Kevorkian style.
Well, yeah, exactly. Assisted to help them. And it's
not what he
only
said.
because they can talk and rationalize, because we do this to animals all the time.
Right.
You think human beings aren't animals? We are. Just because we can reason and rationalize things doesn't necessarily
It's a
mean...
very controversial point of view.
Sure,
You can see
that's
that.
fine,
It's
but
a very
I'm trying to be
controversial- I
humane
understand where
because
you're
it's a
coming
terrible
from. You can
existence for
understand
them.
where people could be offended
Absolutely.
by that.
If they misconstrue it, sure.
I
If they
think that because
misconstrue.
it's a hard because I mean looking at what Kevorkian was saying, he wasn't doing it to be a serial
Exactly.
killer. He was doing it to put people out of their misery.
Exactly.
But it's still who's to say that you have that choice?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I was just bringing it up
Thank
for
you, Christian.
conversation,
Yes.
right? I wasn't saying they should do this.
I get that you're starting the conversation. I think that until we can get to the point where we are all on the same page with letting like people that are in severe pain or that are severely old that are like, I'm ready to go, and until we can get on the same page about that, I don't even know if we can have that conversation.
That's a
to be
fair
honest
point.
with you.
We were just bringing up randomly conversation.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from, but I think it's
Yeah.
a very controversial point.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. So let's.
I wasn't saying it in mass.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Eric McKee again. Oh no. Sorry.
Now, if they really went there, that would be such a better show if actually they were playing the outlaw theme and they were leaning into it and they were making things. But, oh, my God. So what is this show, this SEN? So it's not a movie show because they will address it, and then they'll just shrug it off, right? They'll just shrug it off, Jody, and then Roka's there blatantly lying, and Christian's trying to attempt to justify it by saying, oh, it's like, it's like
A lot of good
Kevorkian.
suggestions in here.
It's like
The gym
Kevorkian, which,
sock.
no, it's not, because in Kevorkian style, those people were asking him to do it, had nothing to do with what Roka was suggesting. This has made me more angry, and the fact that this exists, and they're just putting it under the rug, which this is proof of, because multiple people have attempted to super chat this question over at SEN with the robot saying it and everything, and every time it happened, they ignore it. And I have nothing to do with it. And I'm not even asking you guys to go do that. Don't give money to it to go do that, to troll them. But I'm just saying people send it to me when it happens. They're like, oh my God, you see on the show? I'm like, no, I don't watch the show. But every time they show it and the robot does it, they completely let it play, and then they move on and don't even address the topic. And they did it while RB3 was on, which I want to get to. There's more to the story. But before I go, I want to give Jody a response to that, because this one set me off, and I'm curious your take.
I always liked Harloff. I always respected him. We had a cool relationship to where we admire, what one another did. I always thanked him for having a belief in me and wanting to put me on Collider with his friends and all that. And, it's sad to hear him say that. This is what I'm gonna say, man. So when Roka was talking shit about us on Twitter, when he took to Twitter, him and Ye Washington, and they called us clowns and how we're homophobic and we need to be canceled, literally trying to cancel us via Twitter. The guy Roka who uses I came straight to Roka and I said, in his DMs, I said, what's going on with this, bro? Why are you blasting me on Twitter? No response. He didn't even respond to me. Still to this day, I got the receipts. Went at Washington, and he was like, nigga, who was you trying to come in like you are? I got a lot of things on my mind. which I believe his life must be very hard. So I understand. I went straight to Harloff because me had a relationship. I said, Harloff, what's up with your boy blasting me with lies on Twitter, making me look like a homophobe, like I should be taken out? And Harloff is like, yo, I don't want no parts of it, man. I just want to talk movies. I don't want no parts of the drama. I don't want to be involved with any of this stuff. I said, that's cool and all, but that's your boy, man. Can you at least tell this fool to check his own DM and tell him that I'm reaching out to him as a man and to contact me back? And he said, sure, I'll call him and I'll tell him to check and I'll do that for you. I said, thanks, I appreciate it. Got no response back from Rocha. I don't know if Harloff told him. I'm pretty sure he did. And Rocha don't want no smoke or no parts of having the conversation. And he never reached out to me. So maybe that was a mistake on his part. But there's one thing that this is not about. My feelings towards what John Rocha said about the homeless outweigh my allegiance to trying to not make Harloff look bad, because I gotta keep it a buck. Harloff, you capping for this dude. You're protecting this guy by being silent. Silence, what do they say? Silence is almost acceptance. If you sit there and stay silent and try to cover it up, you just as guilty. I don't like that look for you. I don't like the fact that you're capping and covering for this piece of shit. And I don't like the fact that your group, and I don't even know their names. All I know is this piece of shit, Rocha, Ye Washington, and Roxy, because me and Andy talk about them because they be talking trash about Andy. I don't even watch y'all shit because it's boring and PC and whack. But all I know, y'all got a deep crew that cancels people off PC bullshit using Twitter and fake sycophantic shit. And now that you have a sycophantic in your midst, you're not willing to do what is necessary to make him accountable. So that makes your hands just as dirty. And I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed in the way you handled that live. Like, oh, he did say that, it's not cool. He was trying to downplay the situation. After hearing Rocha say, yo, should we just end their lives? He said much worse because he was lying. Rocha was lying.
Justin T.
But I feel like Harloff could have done a lot more. He knew about this situation. And a lot of things have been stirring up since we revealed this video. A lot of commenters saying, oh, I hate them. I'm not talking about them. We got legitimate people who had a feeling, who do not like Rocha and the Schmoedown, and who are parts of it, who enjoy it, who actually watch them. And it made them feel some type of way. And all it took was for us to make this video exposing this freaking Nazi to the world, for them to come out and say, I'm glad that you guys are doing what you're doing.
Yeah, well said. I sorry, I didn't mean to play that clip that was playing as you talked, but I wanted to share because I found it. But here, just to prove it, here's
Justin T. 1977 says, first Roxy and now Rocha. Hold on, it's cutting off there. Let's go to the next one. My balls hurt says, hey guys,
my balls. They'll go to my balls hurt, but they won't ask the question about Rocha's thing, what to do. There's a couple others, but they're skipping it. And what's frustrating is that there's a couple of them, and there's RB3 in there. And the reason I want to bring this up is because. So if you guys don't know Robert Meyer Burnett, he was on the Schmoedown, and he was removed from the Movie Trivia Showdown after reacting angrily to the murder of the retired police captain David Dorn. Now, look, I saw that video. It made me unhinged. Like, it was horrific. I don't know why it was so widely spread. At the same time, it made people act in a visceral way because you were watching the murder of a person who was just there and murdered for no reason by looters. It was awful. It was awful, and it was just horrific. And so this one's going to get demonetized. It is what it is. But pardon the language in advance because I want to make sure you guys have the full context. This was his quote. I'm sort of just, you want outrage? Watch this. MFers, honestly, F the looters. Here's the moment every gun owner really wants. You want to stop the unrest. Everyone use deadly force. Shoot to kill. Every business. Shoot to kill. Now, look. I don't support. I think he went extreme. He acknowledged that later, but he was reacting to something about a man being murdered for no reason. Just an innocent black man murdered for no reason. That's what happened.
That's important. He was a black man. He was
totally. Totally. A black man who was mad about, and I think a lot of people were upset, confused. There was a lot of stuff going on in the heat of all those moments, and he lost his cool in it. And honestly, I think rightfully so. And here's what happened. Christian said the Schmoedown does not agree with the statements made earlier by Robert Burnett. We will be replacing him as MTS manager. We'll let you know who will step into his role soon. The world, even the virtual one, is especially hard right now. Let's be kind to one another. And then he got a lot of flack. I actually got it. I jumped into it and I got involved. It's like, what the hell is this? You're canceling what? We're canceling him because he got angry at something, and so people were calling him out. And he said, RMB and I did speak after a lot of backlash. He said we heard each other out. He understood my point of view, and I heard what he was trying to say in the initial tweets, and we both understood why it was the best to move on. We spoke first. I didn't inform him by a tweet. So here's Christian having to play damage control because he reacted quickly. And why did he react quickly, Jody? Do we want to really get to this? Well, one person really set this out. So this Robert Butler III, RB3 as they call him, I don't know this dude, never heard of this dude, don't care about this dude in the slightest. But RB3 is the one who is the righteous, gets to decide who gets canceled and who doesn't. Everybody in the Collider Schmoedown community, RMB continues to justify its aggressively offensive tweet. The shoot-to-kill mentality is the exact type of declaration that incites violence and murder. He chooses to stand with the right-wing extremist ideology we must condemn. This is then after he deleted it, this is the original tweet. Please share and retweet it. Let's share it over and over again after he's already sort of corrected it. Let's condemn and cancel him and his right-wing extremist ways. Now, this preceded, someone please give this man his medication before he goes out there and shoots a black person. I mean, this is horrific. And again, 300 people. 300 people is what Christian reacted to, this mob. Christian, you should be ashamed of yourself. Everyone thinks I'm like, oh, Andy, this has nothing to do with me or cancel culture. This is wrong. What you did was wrong, Christian. You reacted too quickly. You took this man out of your whole dumb thing, and then you're going to let this man, Roca, who just said that, and he's well, it's funny. I mean,
that is the definition of hypocrisy.
This is as hypocritical as it gets. You are a phony, sir. You are full of shit. You aren't genuine at all. This is why it's not working anymore. Now, there's going to be a lot of your fan base and your bubble who aren't going to care. They're going to vilify Jody and I because we can't succeed on our own. And why do you even care about it? Roca's all like, well, leave me alone. I don't follow you on Twitter. Who cares? Roca, we're offended by it. Like, you said something horrific, way worse than what Rob said. And RB3, you don't get to be the judge, jury, and executioner and send this out. And you want to talk about giving a man his medication? Should we talk about how John Roca threatened me? Should we talk about how he wants to murder all of the homeless? While Rob Burnett is out there upset that a black man died unnecessarily, just completely for no reason? Like, everybody took this because Rob's kicked this up in the storm. Everybody took this. And then it became Rob's a Nazi. Rob's a Trump supporter. Rob's Republican. None of that's even true. But everybody condemned him, and they pushed him out. And it was horrific, and it's awful, and it shows why the Schmoedown, they're idiots. They'll react to RB3 because I guess RB3 was black and offended and got overly offended on something that he should have had a real rational conversation with because apparently they were friendly. And because of that, Christian just completely went, oh my God, Black Lives Matter is happening. Oh my God, Jody, what do? I got to react. Rob's out, I'll make a tweet. He did it like immediately. He did it with like an hour of it all happening.
That's that PCS
and it's
bullshit.
It's ridiculous. And then you won't talk about it. You'll ignore it. And I'm just over it. And I got to call out a little bit. I had it here. I was annoyed because Robert Meyer Burnett is out there defending Roca right now because he wants to sort of play all the sides and be nice. And I mean, it's his right. I'm a fan of him. I got no beef with him. He's welcome on here anytime.
Defending Roca for what he said about the homeless?
Well, no. So here's what he did. Because he saw the anger sort of coming at everything. And I had it open and it went to disappear. Let me just make sure I have it. When I did my tweet out, here it is. I worked with we as stuff was kicking up, it clearly got to him because people were tagging him. I worked with the Roca Says for a few years, both in Heroes and the Schmoedown. I've never known him to be anything other than kind, considerate, caring, intelligent, professional, hilarious, passionate, and always willing to help. He also served this country. I always liked him. Now look, he's trying to play all sides. He's trying to be the gentleman.
What was said? Did he speak on what he said though?
No, he didn't.
Okay.
So Rob's just trying to play all sides and play nice. And if he wants to play PC, look at the guy you're canceling. Look at the guy you just kicked out of the Schmoedown. If you want to
One of
blame
your
us
own.
for calling it out, whatever. But here's Rob, the awful guy who was canceled from the Schmoedown for his things, as to put it in Christian, again, as Christian put it. Let's make sure I'm giving everybody what they said. It's right here. The Schmoedown does not agree with the statements made earlier by Robert Meyer Burnett. So we will be replacing him. If that's how the rules work, Christian, then you can't let this man be in there. What
Why y'all
Roca
can't afford
said
Nazi over there?
is worse. It's awful. And you
100-fold.
guys are ignoring it. And then on top of that, when Roca was on a stream with me, and I was talking about this issue because it upset me.
Same day I get an
When
email
I was
from United
upsetting
Team.
about this, he proceeded to threaten my life. And everyone's like, no, you're over. No, I'm not. Jody, am I overreacting? The man
you're not.
threatened to what? Do you remember what it
Said,
was?
I have no problem putting holes in people. I have no problem with doing that physically. You're a little tubby bitch. If you weren't such a coward, you would have a confrontation with him in person. He had no problem coming to your house. Then later on, he says, I am not a fat, pimply kid who can't fight, who reads comic books. I will put you through a wall. This is not a game.
And then talked about showing up to my doorstep, et cetera, et cetera. All of this is in Jody's video. Go watch Jody's video. I'll link it so you guys can go watch it there. But this is bullshit. This is bullshit. And you know what's even more annoying? The reason it all triggered me in the first place, and again, thanks to Steph for helping me pull some of this. Here's Roca. Here's the virtue signaling Roca. You want to hear this?
Like, hey, for a limited time, you can like. Also, like,
I
why
agree.
is that
It's
even
madness.
legal? We're all supposed to be indoors. Like, why are we allowed to travel to like? And I could literally. United is promoting and encouraging me to travel to New York and then take my free miles and go to wherever the hell else like will take us. Like, what other
Yeah.
countries?
Look,
I'm sick.
you put a businessman in charge of the country, this is what you get. They don't see anything but numbers. They don't see humanity. They don't see people as a fully fleshed out organism
Kushner
that they have
certainly
to care
doesn't.
about. They just see yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like
I
Kushner,
almost-
I think, yeah, I think he has. I think
Go
he
ahead,
has
go
like on the spectrum. I mean, that's not a disrespectful
Fully
thing
functioning human
about
people,
anyone who
right?
is,
Roca-
but no one to people like
I
as
want to make sure
Of
Steph.
course.
yeah. So that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
His brother owns Oscar Healthcare.
Sorry, so I was making, I had to make sure there wasn't more I was missing. But there is people. He's calling out people who are
Yeah,
traveling
same day.
with travel bans, and then the president is just doesn't care about human beings. But here's Roca out there, doing this humane thing, Jody, doing the humane thing, and then
Let's
trying to
slaughter
justify
all
it.
of the homeless people. Let's compare them to a horse when they break their leg and blow their brains out. Let's get rid of all those human beings, God's creatures, who have mothers, fathers, brothers, and sisters, and let's just end their life. Some of them have diseases, some of them have mental conditions, and some of them are just regular old people down on their luck. Let's kill them.
I'm talking to people who are mentally irregular and never going to get the help they need because it's a chemical thing and they can't afford the medicine and we can't afford to house them or get them better. So to me, it's like, well, we have to at some point make the hard decisions as human beings to survive. We do it with animals. Why can't we do it with humans? What, because they can speak? That just doesn't make sense to me.
Doesn't make sense to him. But we're crazy. We're crazy. We're
What's the
canceling
difference
them.
between
And
animals
they don't
and
bathe
humans?
themselves and they're
Because we
eating
can
from
speak.
those same areas. It's just going to lead to a really disgusting virus that is going to take out who knows how many people.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's 500,
Right.
it's
Justifies it.
And so
It's crazy number
Exactly.
for
So-
something that's so easily preventable.
For all our kumbaya shit, it could end up killing people. If the reality is, this is a tough situation that's going on in the world and in a number of cities, and you're like, well, what's the next step? And yes, these people have families, but I mean, where are these? If these families are reaching out, can't help them, can't save them, can't whatever, then this is the next option. And I don't think it's inhumane necessarily.
Not inhumane to murder a whole population. Well,
I wanna go back to the Robert Burnett tweet
yep.
where he defended John Roca basically by only going with half of the story. He said that he was nothing but nice and charismatic and all that other shit, blah blah blah. And I gotta be honest, and here's how real I am with it. It's like when I first met John Roca, when Harloff set it up for me to come into Collider Heroes, because I was very vocal. I said, Harloff, I only F with you and I F with Schnepp. I don't F with none of them other freaking Collider people. Who's like, oh, don't worry, I'll set you up. And he put me on Heroes. And the other the Corey guy that I was there with, and Amy, they were great. I had no problem with them. They were really nice. Did Heroes with Schnepp and it was great. I come into the studio and I meet Roca. I was in contact with him through email because I guess he was the manager. embraced me with a hug, was very nice, was very friendly. I'm telling you, I met him twice, 3 times. Saw him at Birds of Prey premiere in Hollywood. Hugged me. Hey, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see you too, man. How you been? Oh, fine, man. I'm just trying to get this thing working, trying to get my own channel going. I said, keep it up, bro. You'll get better at it. You'll get better. He says, yeah, I see you and your channel. You're killing it right now. I said, thanks, man. I appreciate that, bro. And yeah, I'm trying to work the OBS and all that, man. It's great. I'm like, cool, man. He was always nice to me. He was always nice and that happy towards me. But then that tweet he put out against me, calling me a homophobe and saying I'm a piece of shit and I'm a clown because I was tied to you and they hate you. But then it's like, wait a minute, where did this come from? Then we find out about the homeless. And now here I am, a guy who has had nothing but positive experiences about this man, Roka, in person. To on Twitter being different. And then me discovering that he has a certain way he feels about the homeless. Forget how I think that you are personally. Forget how my experiences with you. Robert Meyer Burnett is saying, oh, it was so great. Forget all that PC shit, bruh. You just like them. Forget that shit you trying to do. Trying to get back in, wiggle back in, SJWA back in. That's your choice. But when you learn something so dark and sinister about another human being, about mass genocide on our homeless, bump all that. You got to talk about that, address that, and keep it real. You didn't even mention the stuff that Roka said. All the stuff that he's done to me so far before leading up to the tweet has been nice. I have nothing but good things to say about Roka because he's been nice to me. But he's a piece of shit Nazi because of the shit that he said. When you get new evidence, you must move forward that way. And the fact that Robert Meyer Burnett is still playing PC, that's weak. That's weak to me.
I agree.
I just want to call that out.
No, I agree, and it's more weak to me, and I still like Robert, but it's frustrating just because it's like, look, if he doesn't want to get involved, just don't say anything.
Just say you don't want to get involved.
Yeah, just don't exactly, don't get involved because you acting in on this, and I'd like come on anytime and defend it or call us out, whatever. You're welcome always on the show. Anybody is Roka, Christian, Rob, anybody's allowed on this to have a conversation, especially if we're talking about him. And it's just frustrating because you're not addressing the whole issue, and on top of that, Roka was not kind to you in your takedown. He was speaking just like everybody else. There was some girl I called out that I didn't know just because people were sharing me these old tweets where they were calling Rob a Nazi based off of what he said, which was not true. He's not a Trump supporter. He's not. I don't know his beliefs. It's none of my damn business. But standing up for a black business owner who's murdered senselessly and being upset about it and then wanting to do something about it to protect them, I think he went over the line on it, obviously, but he acknowledged that the next day in the heat of the moment. I forgive him in that moment. I still don't forgive John Roka for these thoughts because he's trying to ignore them. Christian's trying to ignore them. And then he's got a very violent background. Like he's immensely,
that's crazy.
He's telling me to go to therapy and all this stuff. And it's like, dude, John, I've reached out to you personally. I've DM'd him. I've tried to put this to bed, but I don't like people just ignoring it and be like, yep, sorry, nothing happened. Especially those people who are so vocal to me, to Rob, to so many people with their virtue signaling, but then suddenly when they're caught in it, he's good. Let him pass. It's frustrating. It's really, really frustrating, and I don't like it. And so, look, that's what this is about. That's what we got to. That's why I'm having this conversation. I'm not looking to cancel him. Roka, you can fix this. Address it. Stop tiptoeing around it. Stop lying it and admit you. Well, you can if you correct yourself and you educate yourself.
He's gonna get himself in trouble. No, what you're asking him to do, he knows it's the end for him if he does. If he acknowledges it, if he brings attention to it, he understands that he's guilty. He wants to ignore it. Harloff wants to ignore it because if the world knew about what they said, they would all be done. You can't cap for somebody who wants genocide on innocent people. He can't fix this and he understands it. That's why he ain't trying to say shit. If I'm exposed as a person who wants to murder tens of thousands of people, come on, Jody, fix it. Come on out. Fix what? I'm about to be scared for my life. I'm not gonna want to come out and say, I'm sorry and yeah. There's punishment that comes with that.
I disagree. You have to educate yourself and you have to take accountability on saying that ignorant thing.
What is accountability, though?
The accountability is I spoke. Here, I'll tell Roka how to do it. Listen, I spoke out of turn. And when I said it, I had some thoughts. And the more I've thought about it, and now that I've spoken to people, I realize that's not the way. There are resources we can give them. And I didn't mean that in the way I meant it. And I said it, and it was stupid. and I'm educating myself to right those wrongs. I should be. I should think before I speak. All those types of things
And
would
then,
help
you
in a
gotta finish
direction.
it. Then the punishment comes. You're fired, and he don't want that.
No, I mean, look, I think the solve that Christian does is reinstate Rob Burnett. First, he's got to do is
That
reinstate
ain't a
Rob.
solve for me.
If
That
he
ain't no solve.
if he
Bullshit.
reinstates Rob and Roca
No, man,
apologizes
that's you,
and
not me.
acknowledges it,
Oh,
that works
man,
for
no.
me. That works for me. I'm not here to
alright, fine.
destroy these guys' lives. We all say stupid shit.
No.
I granted what Roca said is worse, but for me, if
That's
he doesn't
cool.
take accountability, then I'm with you. If he keeps trying to sweep us under a rug, then I'm not cool.
I got you. That's your personal right. That's what's enough for you. But for me personally, and for those humans that he wants to kill, ain't nothing that you could do to explain outside of mental retardation and sickness why you would say that. Either way, you need to be up out of there, bruh, because you're a part of an SJW PC crew that gets rid of other people for being non-PC. Well, now that there's a wolf among the sheep of PC SJWs, time to get them up out of there. I ain't cool with. You could bring R.M. Robert Meyer Burnett back. That don't change what Roca did and what he says about the homeless, about wanting to murder them, mass genocide. Heck no, I'm not cool with that. Tick for tack. Bring him back and I'm cool? No, I'm not cool with that. Me as a homeless person who have been homeless myself, I ain't for that. No, absolutely not. Keep it consistent, Schmoedown. When people are un-PC, you get rid of them. When people do nasty things, you get rid of them. Robert Meyer Burnett just said, let's go gun-ho after a black man got killed, and you got rid of him. This man wants to kill people. He gotta go. Keep it a buck. Be consistent, Schmoedown. That's what it's all about. Keep it 100.
Look, I'm not going to argue with you about it. We have a difference of opinion. As long I believe if Schmoedown corrects their own hypocrisy, and Roca accepts accountability, that's a path towards betterment in my eyes. But look, that you're right to your own opinion. That's where we disagree. You guys in the comments, I see you're having a conversation.
Every time people
but that's
get
why
caught
we
in a
got to have this
scandal-
conversation, right? This is
Every
part of
time-
it.
Yes, true. Every time people get caught in a scandal, doing something wrong, saying something wrong in their PC Hollywood, what happens? They say everything that you said, Andy, after getting fired. I'm gonna step down and reflect. It's my time to resign and go reflect on myself. I need help, but it always comes down to the punishment. I gotta go. We are not stopping off of that. He tried to cancel both of us. Roca, we saw what you tried to do to us.
Well, Roca did try. Roca absolutely canceled me, but that's besides the point. He already did that.
I'm out of here with that shit, man. No, I ain't for that. No way. No way. I'm defending the homeless who don't even have a voice because I've been homeless my mother freaking self, bro. That shit was personal. You have a Nazi Hitler freaking mentality, bro, and you threaten Andy's life. Freak that.
Paul agrees with you. Thank you for sending over, Paul. Paul wanted to say, Jody, keep it 100, man.
Thanks, man.
Forget the. Oh, I just why did it
I
just
will.
go away? Forget the garbage talking. It just refreshes every time I adjust this. Forget this piece of garbage talking about homeless like they are subhuman. It's close to the heart, like it should be, close to everyone with a shred of humanity. And then Wancho, this clown sounds like a fungus riddled. It sounds like fungus riddled. And thank you, Michael, for sending. But yeah, and David, I saw you early. Thank you. Thursday's just Thursday. I'll see you then. Thank you, David. Yeah, look. That's why I want to talk about this. It's not over for me.
It's a good thing.
It's an important that we address it. They want to ignore it, and look, I don't like that they're just ignoring it. This is hypocrisy. And Roca, of all people, you were not one to talk. You were out there virtue signaling everyone. Stop, because you're not one to talk. Don't tell me I need therapy when you, sir, absolutely need therapy. And again, I think there's things you can do to educate yourself and attempt to better yourself in this. I hope you do. I hope this is addressed. They won't. They'll just keep shrugging this under the rug. And I hope, if anything, they at least are careful next time to avoid jumping to cancel and fire someone from their Schmoedown for having a difference of political or conversation or heated moment that isn't even allowed to be explained.
That's crazy. I just got to say something real quick, man, in closing, man. This is exactly why. Look, I'm freaking Harloff. I still like Harloff. I still respect him and I still F with him, but he got a choice to make, bro. You effing up. Harloff wants to keep it a buck, bro. I'm gonna keep it honest. Harloff wants to do what we do, but he can't because he's surrounded by
Facts.
SJW PC friends that make him, I don't know when I want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about that. Knowing good and goddamn well that he wants to have fun on the camera and be himself, be a man. But he can't because he's surrounded by phonies.
Dude, he's with his partner. Let's really keep it a buck. His partner, Mark Ellis, dated Danny Fernandez, who is one of the most toxic, woke individuals I've ever met. Someone who immediately jumped on the bandwagon to just throw lies out to condemn me and then shut up once, it was false. It's disgusting. But that's who his partner was, and I know. I've heard. I won't talk too much out of turn, but I know they always had some beefs about that. People didn't like Christian because that's not who Christian was. But Christian, just like Howard Stern is doing right now, it's ironic because he wants to be Howard Stern, and he's trying to be now the new Howard Stern, who's like more like Howard Stern now is a lot more like guide. He keeps it close to the vest. He's trying to get celebrities in. He doesn't do it as crazy as he used to, and I feel like that's what he's trying to do. Christian wants to have celebrities coming in as one-on-one. He wants to have his group happy. He wants to do his trivia. Whatever, do your thing. I don't give a shit about that. But the reality is, you are right. That's not who he is deep down. That's not what makes him entertaining. That stuff's getting boring and stale. He would be doing 10 times better if he was able to be genuine and be himself. But he can't because, as you said, you're right. He's surrounded by a bunch of people who are going to cancel and chime in and kick people while they're down. It's a gross place to be, and I'm glad I'm out of it, to be perfectly honest.
We know the game that they play. We understand. I could have done that. I chose with every fiber in my body. I knew that I was never going
what
to
Roach
do.
just said reminds me of how black people were treated during the opioid crisis, etc. No one wanted to help us. They used it as an excuse to demonize us.
Yep.
Rocha's mentality is cancerous and wrong.
Thank you, Knock Shadow, and
true,
facts. And that's why I'm annoyed with this. Like, Christian, John, stop ignoring it. This is a serious thing, he said. Why do you keep ignoring it? Oh, I know, because you want it to go away. You don't want to take any single accountability. But the problem is, you've already you forced Rob to take that accountability, and now you don't want to do it for your friend. That's what this video is about, the blatant hypocrisy in the Schmoedown. We got lots more to talk about, but I want to trim it here. If you want to hear us get more into this, we will get more into this. We're going to be here live talking about it for a little while, so don't go anywhere. But those of you watching on the replay, become a member. You can watch the whole conversation always every Tuesday and Thursday, and share this video. That's why I want to cut this down, because we got more we're going to talk about, but I want to make sure we at least keep this a little bit more digestible to get it out there. So please, there's no monetization on this one. This is about just getting the word out. And for me, it's not about canceling. It's about making sure that they stop being hypocrites and they take accountability for words that they say wrong. So help us get that out there. Don't let this one die. It's not over yet. That's my thoughts on this. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching live, don't go anywhere. Make sure you subscribe to Jody's Corner or subscribe here to Popcorn Planet. More videos you can watch. Live viewers, we'll be right back.